Hey everyone, and welcome back to Everyday English Podcast with Emma, your go-to podcast for speaking real natural English with confidence. Today's episode is super practical and packed with value. We're talking about daily life English phrases, the kind of stuff you hear and say every single day, but may not find in textbooks, whether you're a student, a working professional, or just someone who wants to sound more fluent and natural. This episode is for you. Grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. Let's kick things off with our first set of daily phrases. Morning routine phrases. The phrases are, I'm not a morning person. Hit the snooze button. Caffeine fix. Let's hear them in action with a little story snippet. To be honest, I'm not a morning person. Today I hit the snooze button 3 times before dragging myself out of bed. I desperately needed my caffeine fix. Now let's break that down. I'm not a morning person means mornings are just not your thing. You're slow, sleepy, maybe a little cranky. Totally normal. Hit the snooze button is when your alarm rings, and instead of getting up, you delay it just 5 more minutes, right? And caffeine fix. Oh yes, that's your essential tea or coffee that magically makes you feel alive again. These are phrases most of us use almost daily. Sounds familiar, right? Alright, that was your morning routine, relatable and real life. Stay with me, because up next we're diving into phrases you can use at work or school. Let's keep going. The phrases are, I'm running late. I'm swamped. Let's touch base. No-brainer. Let's bring these to life with a little story snippet. As I sipped my coffee, I realized I was running late for work. No worries, I told myself, but deep down I was swamped with tasks. At work, my colleague said, let's touch base later about the report. Now let's unpack those phrases. I'm running late means you're behind schedule. Maybe traffic held you up, or maybe you hit that snooze button 1 too many times. I'm swamped is a really natural way to say you're overwhelmed with work. You've got emails, deadlines, calls, everything at once. Let's touch base is just a simple professional way to say, let's talk later. Super handy for meetings or follow-ups. And finally, no-brainer means something is so easy or obvious you don't even have to think twice about it. Can you feel that morning chaos building up? Yeah, we've all had days like that. Alright, take a deep breath, because next we're jumping into casual social phrases that you can use with friends, classmates, or even in text chats. Let's go. The phrases are, what's up? I'm down. No worries. I'm beat. You know what I mean? Let's slide into a little scene that brings them to life. Later that evening, a friend called and said, what's up? I replied, not much, just chilling, you know what I mean? I told her about my hectic day, adding, it was a no-brainer, but I'm beat now. Let's break those down real quick. What's up? Is the classic casual way to say, hey, how are you? Super friendly and informal. I'm down means you're in. You're up for something, like, wanna go to the movies? I'm down. No worries is another chill way of saying it's okay, or don't worry about it. I'm beat means you're totally exhausted, like, I've had a long day, I'm beat. And you know what I mean? Is what you say when you're making sure the other person gets what you're trying to say, or just agreeing with you. These are great for sounding natural in everyday convos. Nothing too formal. Just smooth, relaxed English. And now let's head into some super practical phrases you can use at home. These ones are all about those everyday real-life situations, whether you're at home, out shopping, or just trying to remember where you left your keys. The phrases are, it slipped my mind, I'm starving, just browsing, I'll be there in a minute, let me think. By the way, here's a little snippet where they all show up naturally. By the way, I had completely forgotten about the team meeting. It totally slipped my mind. After work, I went to the mall just to relax. When a store clerk approached, I smiled and said, I'm just browsing. Let me break those down for you. It slipped my mind means you totally forgot. Happens to all of us. I'm starving is a dramatic and fun way to say you are really, really hungry. Just browsing is what you say when you are in a store but not looking for anything in particular. I'll be there in a minute is a casual way to say, I'm coming soon. Even if, let's be honest, it might be more than a minute. Let me think is a little phrase we all use when we need a moment to process or remember something. And, by the way, is a great phrase to change the topic or add extra info in a conversation. All super useful, right? These little phrases add so much color to everyday English, and once you start using them, they'll come to you naturally. Now, I'll put it all together into one full story to help you really lock it in. To be honest, I'm not a morning person. Today, I hit the snooze button 3 times before dragging myself out of bed. I desperately needed my caffeine fix. As I sipped my coffee, I realized I was running late for work. No worries, I told myself, but deep down, I was swamped with tasks. At the office, my colleague said, let's touch base later about the report. Later that evening, a friend called and said, what's up? I replied, not much, just chilling. You know what I mean. I told her about my hectic day, adding, it was a no-brainer, but I'm beat now. By the way, I had completely forgotten about the team meeting. It totally slipped my mind. After work, I went to the mall just to relax. When a store clerk approached, I smiled and said, I'm just browsing. Let me think. I'll be there in a minute. I texted the friend, then added, by the way, I'm down for pizza later. And just like that, you've heard over 20 real-life English phrases that you can start using right away, naturally, confidently, and fluently. That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to practice these phrases out loud, and maybe even try writing your own little story with them. You'll be surprised how quickly they become a part of your everyday speech. Until next time, this is Emma, signing off with love and language. Take care, and keep speaking.